Okay, perfect. Okay, welcome everybody. It's 4:01, so we're going to get started. And we're going to start in standing. Last week, first one in gets to choose. So Marisa, I should have asked you what you wanted, because first one in gets to choose if we start in standing or if we start in lying down pose. So today we're going to start in standing pose. And I'm going to see just if I can do something different here. There we go. There we are spotlighted. Okay, here we go. So we're going to stand in mountain with our feet hip width apart. We're going to press our big toe, our baby toe, and our heel into the mat. We're going to roll our shoulders back, bring our shoulder blades together behind our back, open up our palms, and we're going to stand in mountain and just focus on our breathing for just about 5 breaths. So we're just going to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, just breathing as we would normally. Just finding our focus, finding our spot on the mat, wiggling our toes, moving our feet, finding the place that feels where we're really planted into the mat. And we'll just take another breath in through our nose and out through our nose. And then we're going to sweep our arms up, overhead, crossing our hands, sweeping down. Inhaling as we sweep our arms up and down. Inhaling again as we bring our arms up and down. And then we're just going to roll our shoulders back again, open up our palms, and we're going to stand in mountain. And again, we're just going to focus on our breathing for just about 5 breaths. So breathing in through our nose and out through our nose, just settling ourselves into our practice for today. Just noticing if there are any places where we feel we have to be paying attention. And now we're going to, again, as we take our 5th breath, we're going to inhale with our arms up, sweeping our arms up, exhaling down, inhaling up, and exhaling down. This time we're going to bring our arms straight up overhead. Our palms are facing each other, but not touching. Our fingertips are pressing as far as we can get them towards the ceiling, trying to grow ourselves up into the ceiling. And then exhaling down with our arms open. We're going to inhale up again, palms facing, but not touching. Again, really pressing our fingertips up, keeping our shoulder blades down, keeping our feet firmly planted, and exhaling down. And one more time, inhaling up, fingertips up to the sky, feet pushing into the mat, keeping our shoulder blades down, exhaling down. Now let's take our arms, roll our shoulder blades back, interlace our fingers behind our back, press our chest forward, and just hold and breathe. And then let's just, keeping our knees soft, let's just hinge forward from our hips, just letting our arms lift, and just letting our head be heavy. And then we're going to exhale as we come back up. Release our hands. And this time again, let's lift our arms up, palms facing each other but not touching. Drop our right arm down. Keep our left arm up with the fingertips to the ceiling, just slightly to the side with our arm close to our ear, just really pressing, feeling a stretch up the side of our body. And then exhaling down. Inhaling both arms up, again, palms facing each other but not touching. Dropping our left arm down, pressing our right arm just slightly to the side, keeping our arm close to our ear, feeling a stretch at the side of our body, and dropping our arm down again. Now let's interlace our fingers again behind our back, press our shoulders forward, Bring our shoulder blades down our back, press our chest forward, just feeling that stretch across the front of our body. And then again, let's just soften our knees, hinge forward from the hips, and just let our arms lift up. And again, just let our head be heavy. Just a couple of breaths here. And then we come up very slowly. Release our arms, bring our arms, palms open. And let's lift our arms up one more time, palms facing each other but not touching. Dropping our right arm down, pressing our left arm close to our ear, just slightly to the side. Again, really just feeling a stretch at the side of our body. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, palms facing but not touching, dropping our left arm down. Press our fingertips just towards the ceiling, just slight, close to our ear and slightly to the side. Again, just feeling that stretch. And then bring our arms down again. Now, one more time, let's take our hands, interlace our fingers behind our back, press our chest forward. We'll just hold here. We're not going to hinge forward this time. We're just going to press our chest, bring our shoulder blades back, and just feel that stretch across the front of our body. Our shoulders are always so tight. It usually feels pretty good. And now let's just release, bring our hands to heart center. Let's turn so that we're facing the short edge of the mat. And let's just move into flying bird. So we'll start just with our leg. So we'll step back with our right leg. Our foot is just at about a 45-degree angle. Our front knee is bent. We're going to open up our arms wide and inhale. And then exhale as we step forward and bring our hands together. And now we're going to do the same on the left. We're going to step back with the left foot. Foot is just at about a 45-degree angle. Our right knee is bent. We open up our arms and inhale. And exhale as we step forward. Let's do that again. Let's just step back with our right leg. Open up our arms. Exhale as we step forward. Step back with our left. Open up our arms. Exhale as we step forward. Let's do one more time with just legs. So stepping back with our right, opening up our arms, exhaling as we step forward. Stepping back with our left, opening our arms, exhaling as we step forward. Now let's aim to open our arms and step back at the same time. So let's open up our arms and step back with our right, and exhale, stepping forward. Open our arms and step back at the same time. Exhale, stepping forward. Let's just continue to do this with our breath. We're always inhaling with our open arms and exhaling as we come forward. I'm going to do 2 more on each side. Let's do 1 more on each side. And then step forward. And now with hands at heart center, let's sit back into chair. And let's just aim to lift our right heel up off the mat and then place it back down again. Lift our left heel up and place it down again. Same thing on the other side, right heel up and down, left heel up and down. And now let's just, with our knees bent, let's open up our arms, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, and come all the way up again. Sit back into chair, watching your back, making sure our back is flat so that we're not straining. Sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, come up again. Sit back into chair, sweep our arms, come all the way up again. 2 more times, sitting back into chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, come up. 1 more time, sweep our arms, come all the way up. Bring our hands to heart center. Let's move back into flying bird. Let's step back with our right with our arms open, stepping back. Step back with our left, arms open. Step back with our right, step back with our left. Keeping in time with our step and our arms. Do 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 1 more on the right, and 1 more on the left, And then again, hands at heart center, sitting back into chair, opening up our arms, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, come all the way up. We want to make sure we protect our back as we're doing that. Sit back into chair, sweep our arms, come all the way up. We focus on not kind of carving our back. Sit back again, sweeping our arms and up. Once more, sit back into chair, sweeping our arms, come all the way up. This time we're going to swan dive all the way down to the mat. So we're going to sit back, swan dive, come all the way down to hands and knees. And let's bring our knees out to the long edge of the mat. Bring our big toes together and let's press back into our first child's pose. So let's just press back. Let gravity bring our hips down. Probably still feeling quite tight in our hips. So we'll just hold here for 5 breaths. And as we exhale in our 5th breath, let's come up, bring our knees directly under our hips. Hands and wrists directly under shoulders. Our feet are flat on the mat or our toes are turned under. And let's just move into cat and cow. And let's just take our time with cat and cow. So find the place that feels stable and comfortable. And let's start with cat by dropping our tailbone, rounding our back, pushing our back up and looking through our legs. And then moving into cow by lifting our tailbone, dropping our chest, looking up. And again, let's drop our tailbone, round our back, look through our legs in cat. And same thing again. Let's just lift our tailbone, drop our chest, looking straight ahead, big inhale. Now we're just going to continue to do cat and cow and do it in whatever way and however slow or quickly you would like to do it. You can do it on each breath. So exhale in cat, inhale into cow, or you can hold in cat for a few breaths, just feeling the back push up. And then lifting the tailbone, dropping the chest into cow. Let's just continue. We're going to do 2 more of whatever we are doing, whatever order and whatever speed. That does feel good, my goodness. And as we finish, we're just going to come back to flat back. And then we're going to move our knees out again to the long edge of the mat, bring our big toes together and come all the way down again into child's pose. And we'll just hold here in child's pose again for 5 breaths. And then as we take our 5th exhale, let's come back, bring our knees again directly under our hips, our wrists directly under our shoulders, and let's move into spinal balance. So in spinal balance, we're starting just with legs. We're going to lift our right leg up, pressing our foot away behind us. Our toe is to the floor and our leg is at hip height. We're just keeping our core tight and holding for a couple of breaths and placing that knee back on the mat. Lifting our left leg up, toe to the floor, pressing that foot away, really, really pressing hard, not just lifting this leg, we're really working it as we do that. Back on the mat, lifting our right leg again, toe to the floor, really pressing it away. One side will feel different than the other side, so just notice that. And then knee back to the mat, left side up, toe to the floor, really pressing that foot away, feeling like somebody's trying to press that foot. And knee to the mat again. Now let's add our arms. So let's lift our right leg with toe to the floor, left arm, thumb to the ceiling, Again, same thing, really engage that arm, engage the leg, just hold a couple of breaths, and then hand and knee back to the mat. Left leg up, right arm, again, thumb to the ceiling, toe to the floor, keeping our core nice and tight, hand and knee back to the mat. Let's do one more on each side. So right leg up, left arm. Again, we can just lift that leg, but if we really, really work it, we're really strengthening that leg. Keeping our core tight. Hand and knee to the mat. Left leg up, right arm up, thumb to the ceiling. Again, hand and knee to the mat. Now this time, let's keep our knees where they are and just press back again into child's pose for 5 breaths. Now let's walk our fingers out in front of us on the mat, really feeling a stretch. Cross our shoulders, under our arms, really feeling that pose. We walk our fingers out in front of us as far as they'll go. And then walk those fingers back again. And now let's press our hips over slightly to the right. Come back to center. And then press over slightly to the left. And back to center. Walk those fingers out again, just feeling that stretch. And then walk fingers back again. Let's come up and let's do sunbird. So let's, again, make sure that we're in a straight line here so that our knees and our hips are in a line and our wrists and our shoulders are in a line. And in sunbird, we lift our bent knee with the sole of the foot to the ceiling. And just like we did with cat, we round our back, we bring our tailbone down, and we bring our knee to our elbow. And then we come back up again. And then we drop our tailbone, round our back, bring our knee to our elbow, back up again. Again, one more time. We drop our tailbone, round our back, bring our knee to our elbow. We finish with the sole of the foot to the ceiling and knee back to the mat. Now let's do the other side. So left leg, bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. Again, we drop our tailbone around our back, bring our knee to our elbow, come back up again. Drop our tailbone around our back, bring our knee to our elbow, and back up. One more time. Drop our tailbone around our back, knee to elbow, finish with the sole of the foot to the ceiling. And bring knees back. Keeping our knees where they are, let's press back again into child's pose and hold here for 5 breaths. Now let's walk those fingers out again in front of us and really feel that stretch. Let's just hold them there. And then let's bring them back again. Press our hips slightly to the right, just feeling that stretch on the outside of our right hip as we just press our hips slightly to one side. And then come back into center. And press our hips over to the left again, just feeling that stretch on the outside of our left hip. And then back to center. And now again, let's walk our fingers out as far as they'll go, just feeling that stretch. And let's spread our fingertips, pull fingers wide, and then come all the way up into kneeling plank. So we're all the way up, our shoulder blades are over our fingertips, our fingers are spread wide, And then we're going to push back again into child's pose. And then come back up into kneeling plank, shoulders over fingertips, really pressing into the center of our palms. So we're not straining our wrist, and then pressing back again into child's pose. Inhaling as we come up, and exhaling as we come back. And if you would like to do downward facing dog and full plank, same thing. We just push back into downward facing dog and come forward into full plank. So continue to do kneeling plank and child's pose, or downward facing dog and full plank, or maybe a combination, downward facing dog, kneeling plank, downward facing dog, knees down, kneeling plank. Whatever you'd like to do, I'm just going to do a couple of more of each. Whatever feels good. One more of each. And then we're going to finish and come back again into child's pose and just hold in child's pose for 5 breaths. Now let's come up. Let's get our blocks close by. Let's bring our right leg forward into either a kneeling lunge, or we can use our blocks and lift up into a full lunge and hold balanced on our blocks. Or we can hold ourselves, or we can stay in our kneeling lunge, whichever we would like to do. We'll just hold here. And then we're going to walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat. We're going to lean in and feel that stretch on our hip. We're just going to come forward. If we come back, we feel a stretch in a different place. If we come forward so our knee and our ankle are square, we feel it in our hip. So wherever it feels good. And just hold here. Hold this a little bit longer. You can almost start to feel it just loosening up a little bit, just softening slightly. Or maybe it's screaming at you, not sure. Now let's walk that foot. So the ankle and the knee are in straight line again. Let's turn the toe under of our left foot, lift up and press back into a runner's lunge, and just feel that stretch in our calf as we come up. Place that knee back on the mat. Bring our right leg back. Bring our left leg forward. Again, we can be in a kneeling lunge. We can have our blocks beside us and lift up into a full lunge. Or we can hold and just lift ourselves up into a full lunge and hold in this position. Whatever we would like to do. Now, if we're in a full lunge, we're going to bring our knee all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat. So it's just a little off center, and we're going to lean into that leg. And just feel our stretch on the outside of our body. Now let's walk that foot back in so our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Toes turned under, lift up, press back, feel a stretch in our calf. Let's place our knee down. Let's come back. Let's do that one more time. Let's bring our right leg forward. Again, we can stay in a kneeling lunge, or we can be in a full lunge, whichever we'd like. We're going to just lift our arms up straight as well. So just holding our arms up straight. That might make you decide whether you're kneeling or in a full lunge. And we'll just do a little balance magic here. And just hold. You should feel a nice stretch in the front of your left leg as well. So now we're just going to turn slightly to the right towards our bent leg. And then coming back to center, turning to our left, opening up our arms to our left, coming back to center, bringing our arms down. Let's walk that foot over to the long edge, lean in, feel the stretch on the outside of our hip, and it should feel a little bit softer now. It should feel like it's giving us a little bit of a break now. Now let's walk that foot back in. Turn the toes under and our left leg, lift up, press back. Feel that stretch in our calves. Let's place that knee down. Bring our right leg back. Bring our left leg forward. Again, we can stay in this kneeling lunge. We can use our blocks to lift. We can lift ourselves up into a full lunge and hold, or we can stay in our kneeling lunge. And we're going to lift our arms up high. I'm just going to hold here. And then we're going to turn slightly, opening up our arms, turn towards our left knee. And then coming back to center again. Opening up, turning towards our right. Coming back to center again. Dropping our hands down, walking our left leg over so it's a little offside, leaning in. Now let's walk that foot back in. So our knee and our ankle are in a straight line. Turn the toes under of our right foot, lift up, press back, and stretch in our calf. Just hold here. And now let's bring our right foot all the way up beside our left foot. Sweep our arms up overhead, big breath. Exhale down. Big breath in. Exhale down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Bring our hands to heart center. Let's sit back into chair. And let's just take our left elbow and turn so we can place it onto our right knee. And we're just going to hold. We should just feel a nice stretch here. And coming back into center and turning so we place our right elbow on our left knee. Nope, that's the other way around. Right elbow, left knee. Yep, that's right. Hold there. Coming back to center, coming all the way up. Big inhale again. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Let's bring our hands together overhead. Bring them down to heart center. And let's move into our warrior poses. Let's start with short stance warrior one, stepping back with our right foot. Our left knee is bent. We bring our arms up high and we're in short stance warrior one. We're going to be balancing on the outside edge of our back foot. Our back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Our hips are square to the front mat, the short edge of the mat. And now we're just going to hinge forward slightly from the hips, let our arms drop down into pyramid pose. And now just turning so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat, dropping our left arm in front of our left knee. We're going to bring our other arm straight up into triangle pose. We're going to bring that top arm down slowly. We're going to come up slowly with our hands to heart center. Pivot so that our right foot is forward and our left foot is back. Again, just back slightly, bouncing on the outside edge of that back foot. Arms high in short stance warrior one. Let's straighten our front leg. Come forward in just letting our arms drop down into pyramid pose. And now let's just turn so our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Our right arm comes down in front of our right foot. Our left arm comes up and we're in triangle pose. Now let's bring that arm down slowly. Bring our other arm up, coming up slowly. Let's pivot again. And let's bring our foot back a little bit farther. Again, we want to still be able to balance on the outside edge of our back foot and have our hips facing the short edge of the mat in long stance, warrior one. Now let's just turn, keeping our front knee square, turn our hips so they're facing the long edge of the mat, open up our arms with our shoulder blades together behind our back, looking forward in warrior two. Now let's drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's again just hinge forward from the hip, let our left arm drop in front of our left bent knee, bring our other arm straight up overhead in side angle pose. Now let's bring that arm down, bring our other arm to heart center, pivot so that our right foot is forward and our knee is bent. Our left foot is back. We're balancing on the outside edge of that back foot. Arms are high in long stance, warrior one. Now let's just turn our hips so they're facing our chest facing the long edge of the mat. We're opening up our arms, bringing our shoulder blades together behind our back, looking out over our front hand in warrior two. Dropping our back hand down, turning our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's just hinge forward from the hips, drop our right hand in front of our right bent knee, turn our other chest so it's facing the long edge of the mat, bring our other arm straight up overhead in side angle pose. Or we can also keep it on our hip, or we can bring it straight overhead in side angle pose. Now let's bring our arm down, bring our hands to heart center. Let's pivot one more time. Let's do that warrior series one more time. So long stance warrior one. Let's bring our arms up high. Again, sitting back on that back foot. And just notice as we're doing this, which side gives you more challenge, which side feels that it needs to be stretched or worked a bit more. Let's open up into warrior two, and maybe both sides feel the same. I know for me, my left side is always a little bit tighter than my right side. Drop our back hand down to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. And then just hinging forward from our hips, letting our left arm drop in front of our left bent knee, bring our other arm straight up into side angle pose. Now let's bring that arm down, bring our hands to heart center. Let's just turn, bring our right knee is bent. We're balancing on the outside edge of our back foot, our left foot. Our arms are high, and we're in long stance warrior one. Now let's open up our arms, turn our hips so they're facing the long edge of the mat, keeping our shoulder blades together in warrior two. Drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. And just notice two of these poses. If there is any one that you particularly feel strong when you do. And then drop our right hand in front of our bent right knee, bring our other arm straight up overhead or straight across our hand, pointing to the other wall in side angle pose. Just bring our arms down, bring our hands to heart center. Let's keep our legs wide. Let's sit back into prayer pose. And then either straightening our legs, pushing our hips back, and either balancing on a high block or a low block or the mat. Just press our hips back, feeling stretch up the backs of our legs. Bring our hands to heart center, come all the way up again. Let's sit back again into prayer pose. Press our hips back and just feel that strengthen our legs. And then pressing our hips back, straightening our knees, coming forward either to a high block or a low block or the mat, and just feel that stretch up the back of our legs. Bring our hands to heart center, come all the way up again, bring our legs, slide our feet closer together, and let's move into our balance poses. So let's start with our favorite tree pose. And again, we always want to keep our core nice and tight. Stand up tall, turn our leg out, bring our heel to our ankle, and we can stay there with the toe on the mat, or lift the leg higher, wherever we would like it to be. Arms can go wherever they would like to go. Hold. Now let's place that foot back on the mat. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. Again, core tight. Turn our leg out, bring our heel to our ankle. And again, we can leave there with the toe on the mat, or we can lift it up higher. Put that foot down on the mat again. And let's just move into dancer pose. So again, taking, and again, anytime you want to touch a wall or hold on to something, feel free to do that. It gives confidence. So we take our hand and we go inside our leg. So we're going to go in our leg and pick up our ankle in dancer pose. And there we go. Might have to really do some dancing to get into that pose. Oh, see, once I lose my core, I fall over. That's the trick, keeping your core tight. So if you don't talk and you keep your core tight, you're not gonna fall over. Bring your hand inside again, the other side, and just lift. And again, arm forward. Beautiful dancers. And then dropping that foot down, arms down. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Let's turn so that we are facing the short edge of the mat. We're going to open up our arms. We're going to swan dive all the way down, and we're going to come down to a seated position. So let's open up our arms, bend our knees, come all the way down, and we're going to come into a seated position. And we're just going to hold in the seated position. We're going to place our hands on the backs of our legs, and we're just going to move into boat pose before we go down and lie on our back with our knees to our chest. So in boat pose, we can start by just lifting our right leg up off the mat. We want to be on our sit bones so that we're using our core, lifting our left leg up. So we can just continue to do one leg at a time if we like, or we can lift both and we can bring legs all the way up. We can continue to hold on to the backs of our legs, or we can bring our arms out and just hold in boat pose for another couple of breaths. And then feet down, back on the mat. And now let's come all the way down. Bring our knees to our chest. Just roll slowly all the way down to the mat, and let's just roll back and forth. Ah, that did feel good. Now let's just keep our knees bent, drop our feet to the floor, and let's lift our hips up to the ceiling in bridge pose. So let's lift all the way up, just pressing through the soles of our feet. We're going to hold here for just a few breaths, keeping our core tight as we do this. Dropping down again. Let's bring our knees to our chest and just roll back and forth. Now we can do, again, we can drop both feet to the mat, or we can just drop our right foot to the mat, keeping our left leg bent, and just lift up. Again, we can do this with two legs, or we can just do our right in a one-legged bridge. And then coming down again, bringing your knees to our chest, rolling back and forth. Now again, you can drop both feet to the mat, or just the left foot to the mat, keeping our right knee bent, and lift up again into one-legged bridge, again, keeping core tight, pressing through our foot, just holding. Now let's come all the way down again, bring our knees to our chest one more time. Now let's take our left leg and just bring it flat and long on the mat. Let's take our right leg and just bring it straight up, holding on to the back of our leg. If you have a strap handy, you can put the strap around the ball of your foot, but if you don't feel like getting up to get your strap, that's fine. You can just hold on to the back of your leg, and let's just roll our ankle. Just roll it back and forth. And then let's just hold with leg up with the sole of the foot to the ceiling. Just for a few more breaths. Now let's bend that leg. Let's bend our left knee as well. And let's bring our knees to our chest again and just roll back and forth. And holding on to our shins, let's really press our legs, our bent knees into our chest and just hold and breathe for 3 breaths. Now let's take our right leg long on the mat, flat on the mat. Take our left leg, again, holding onto the back of our leg. If you want to use a strap, you put it around the ball of your foot, that's fine. If you just want to hold on to the back of the leg, just roll our ankles. And then just keeping the sole of the foot up to the ceiling, let's just hold here. Now let's bend our knees. Let's bring our knees to our chest again. Again, holding on to our shins. Let's really press those shins into our chest. Now let's drop our right leg down on the mat, keeping our left knee bent. Let's drop our bent left leg down, keeping our knee bent, but the foot is flat on the mat. And we're going to do a twist. So we're just going to lift our hip up slightly towards our left bent knee, just a little bit, just so that our knee kind of naturally drapes over our right straight leg. Now open up our arms so that we can feel our chest opening. And we'll just let our left knee drop over our right leg and just relax and hold in this twist. I'm going to hold some of these poses a little bit longer. Now let's bring our arms in. Let's lift our hips up so we're flat on the mat again. Straighten our left leg. Bend our left knee. So bring bend our right leg so that it's bent at the knee. And then we're going to, again, lift our hips up just slightly, push them towards our right knee so that our right knee can drop over our straight left leg. Open up our arms again. And just hold here. Now let's lift up. So we're flat on the mat, bring our arms in, straighten both legs again, and let's bring our knees to our chest and just, again, just roll back and forth. Now let's keep our knees bent. Let's drop our our left leg down, bring our right foot to bring our right foot to our left leg. And we can just leave it like this, or we can lift up and feel holding onto the backs of our legs and just feel a stretch in our hip. Or we can just leave the foot on the mat and just have the other foot just on your thigh. And you can just hold like this, or lift up and pull, whichever feels better. Depends how tight. This is my tight hip, so for me, this feels just fine. Now take both knees again, legs are bent, both feet are flat on the mat. Take our left leg, bend it over our right knee. Again, we can just leave it like this, or we can pull in and hold, whichever gives the right amount of stretch. Now let's release that foot to the floor. Let's bring the soles of our feet together with bent knees into butterfly. And we can stay with our back flat, or we can put a block under our back and just support our head and stay with our chest open, or we can just open up our arms. We're just going to hold here. This is our final pose before we move into final relaxation. So now find the position that's most comfortable for you for your final relaxation. Turn the lights down if you can a little bit. And I will leave you in your final relaxation for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and bring you back into the room. Let's start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Slowly bringing ourselves back to the space we're in. Let's rub our palms together, warming our hands, and then placing our hands, our warmed hands, over our eyes. Slowly opening our fingers and letting light come in. And then coming over to the side of our mat and just pausing there. And when we feel ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. And if we can unmute our mics, I think we have. Let's just take a deep breath together, smoothing our arms up and exhaling and inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling, let's bring our hands together overhead, bring our palms down to heart center. And thank you all for coming out on Father's Day today to practice together. Thank you. I hope you have a good week. Namaste.
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 Namaste. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Hey,
Beautiful day.
it's a great, great day.
A great, great day indeed.
It's a great, great day for motor racing. Probably too young for that one, but that was Jackie Stewart every Saturday.
Oh, is that what they would say? Yeah.
In the days when they used to have Formula One racing on TV. This is 100 years ago, but
They don't have it on TV anymore?
I think it might